FM station in Houston, Texas. Your Fusion Radio. Top 40s, dance, Latin, country, pop, rock and roll. All in one station. Mixing genres and generations. You're listening to KNLY New Waverly, Texas. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
The program presented are submitted by members of our community and are a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect those of KNLY 91.1 FM and its affiliates.
Good morning, and God bless you. We're having a terrific Thursday here at KNLY 91.1 The Boss. I'm Orlando Daniels, your host of today's Entrepreneur. I'm excited about today's guest for several reasons. One, I love his actual. What is the word I want to use? His accent. Yes, I love the accent. But also just being able to have him as well as Ms. Nirvana Roof here in the studios of Vintage Home Loans. So I am ready to engage with Mr. Damian Powers. Introduce yourself.
My name's Damian Power. I'm a mortgage loan officer with Vintage Home Loan. We're a mortgage brokerage based out of Cyprus. I've been there about 3 months, but been in the industry almost 2 years. And that's pretty much me.
How did you transition? Because I know a little bit about you, but I want our listeners and our followers to know that you've been in several areas of occupation and careers. How did you choose to get over into mortgages and home loans and things of that nature?
About 2 years ago, I was laid off from the oil and gas industry. An opportunity arose that my prior broker was looking for loan officers.
Okay.
He didn't need any experience. I went and got my license, got working with him, and as I progressed, improved, and then the next job I landed with Nirvana at Vintage Home Loan, and now we're here.
Okay. Ms. Nirvana, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I got some questions for you.
Okay, Nirvana Roof with Vintage Home Loan. I have been in mortgage for about 20 years, and I am proud to say that I stole Damian from his previous employer. I'm sorry if you're watching, because I was so excited to have him join the
team. She's not sorry. She meant to steal him. She literally meant to steal you.
Yeah.
I think when we not only identify, and I just did this teaching a few days ago, value for value, that whenever you deal with not only just customer or client, just all across the board relationship, that you should see the value of the individual and actually what you contribute as well. So it's good that you chose him. He's a great guy. So we've gotten a chance to laugh a little bit because I didn't know your last name was Roof, and we found out that your father was in the roofing business.
Yep.
And then I also didn't know that Nirvana was an actual person. So let me just be very transparent in that. I didn't know that Nirvana was an actual person. I thought it was an actual business because of how Mr. Damian would say, me and Nirvana's going to be on the show. So I'm like, okay, so is this the company? And I think our tech, Mr. Ivan, thought the same thing. Yep. So everybody, this is Mr. Nirvana Roof. This is a person, not a business.
Yes.
But how did you get involved in establishing Vintage Homes?
I have been in the mortgage industry for 20 years, and I was working actually with a credit union, and I thought I was going to retire there. Loved it. It was great. There was a shift in leadership. It happens with corporate America all the time. And, we decided to separate, part ways very amicably. I love that credit union. And, but it was at that moment I had that, midlife crisis. Do I start working for someone else? And I'd always wanted to start my own company. And because I've worked for so many different entities, I had watched things that had gone wrong. And of course, everybody who starts their own business says, well, I can do it better. And it's not that I necessarily thought I could do it better, but I knew what worked. So I found an amazing investor and started the company almost 3 years ago.
Moving out of faith or having that confidence to just start, and I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, we can all agree and as well as relate, that it's in the starting.
Yeah.
And then once you start, being able to still keep that same drive, that same momentum, that same motivation, and establishing a business. Now, you've been in, around, because your father was, a roofer, you've been in that general area pretty much all your life. So
Yep.
you knew that this is something that will probably be a part. Now, was there anything else that you were involved in or that you established as a business or worked in as a business before starting your own?
I've had my mortgage license for 20 years. I've had my real estate license for 18 years. I went through a small stint of having an insurance license. I don't even know how I passed that test. Like, I don't know how insurance people do that. So it kind of, and I built a mortgage company and a mortgage servicing platform from the ground up. So over the course of the last 20 years, I really have covered the gamut of buying a home, selling a home, what's involved in every single transaction. So when I kind of got this chance, I'm like, I want to take everything that I know and go out in the community and build a team of people who care. Technology is taking over. I know that, and I know we have to be on Facebook and social media, but people still like to talk to people, and people still like people who care.
When I listen to, and people hear me say this often, I love this platform because I get to hear what motivated someone, and then you hear their passion. You identify with what literally encourages them, what wakes them up, what puts them to bed. I've gotten a chance to watch Damien do a few videos and just literally getting out there. Here's something that our listeners don't know. Mr. Damien is actually gone from oil and gas, fireman.
Yes, I'm an active firefighter right now with Cypress Creek. I work there part-time. This is my full-time job, but evenings and weekends I'm over at the fire station.
Don't y'all just
Helping
love this
helping the
voice? Don't
community.
y'all just love this voice? I'm like, just talk to me, homie. But I love the fact that you are, literally embracing something different. And I think that, Nirvana said it earlier, the shift. And I think a lot of people don't know how to shift when life throws the curve. We don't know how to move in a different area. We can sometimes be boxed in, and we're not willing to explore. So it says a lot about you, Damien. What was the initial thing outside of this wonderful personality with Nirvana that made you decide, out of all of the companies you could have gotten with and partnered up with, what made you decide to get with Vintage?
I think it was fate. Nirvana actually came down to the fire station one day, knocked on the door and said, "Hey, we're local mortgage company. We've got this great loan that can help first responders." And my chief was like, "Oh, we've got one of them." That Nirvana's like, "All right, well, give him my number, get him to call me, and let's have a chat." And so I thought, if Nirvana is out there meeting the community, whether it's the fire, police, EMS, then that's my world. I want to be part of that as well. So I went down, spoke to Nirvana, and and that was it. From day one, we had the same vision. So.
We're in that technology age, and Nirvana, you made mention, yes, life, we know that life has changed. Anybody that is in the early 40s, 50s, we know, we've seen the change. Our kids, at their age don't know anything about taking that phone all the way around. And if you mess up, you got to start all back over.
And the 100-foot phone cord.
Listen, when the phone cord, and it's the same with the cell phones now. They got long cords that you can really get comfortable. But my mother had gotten the long cord, and I would be booed up on the phone, stretching it from the kitchen to the bedroom, from the bedroom to the living room. But this generation doesn't know anything other than, and this is not to minimize their importance and their effectiveness. Millennials have a lot to contribute. I think what has happened is the older generation that knows the way, we're not engaging, trying to build those rapports and those relationships by which we can connect with the millennials, because we need them.
Yeah.
We actually need them. They can pick up your phone and work it better than you.
Yeah.
And so we have to still know how to hand over or hand down what it is that we know. That's one of the things that you made mention. But I want to say, because when we talk about the changes that we've seen throughout the years and throughout life, you still believe in what I believe in, and that's customer service. And you can't teach or train a computer to do that. No. You can't teach and train a robot to do that. At some point, you still got to have that personal touch, that intimate thing, and that sets you apart from any other mortgage company. Because I'm so quick. I just recently got a message from someone And I actually have been trying to have a conversation phone-wise.
Yep.
And their whole means of interacting with me have been just messenger, text,
Yep.
but no dialogue. And so that right away for me is like, I can't do business.
Yeah.
I just can't do business because I am a communicator, and I think we miss the art of communication.
Yeah.
So when a customer approaches Vintage or Nirvana, as well as Damien, what can they actually expect?
Our platform is a little different than a normal mortgage company. Because I've been around for so long, my niche was actually what they used to call subprime, not even subprime, but outside of the box.
Okay.
I love to think outside of the box. My favorite clients are going to be investors, self-employed, people with challenges, because I actually like to sit down and talk about the entire situation. Tell me your story, how you got here, where you are, where you want to go, and I can build a product around, or get them in the right product around that. I'm very, very hands-on with my people. I'll be honest with you, there are people who they never want to talk to anybody. You've got an 800 credit score, you're putting 20% down, you make $8 million a year, you don't have to talk to anybody. Your process is going to go through, you don't even have to say hi, it can all be done. But once you step outside of that box, you need to have a conversation, because you need to know who your client is. You need to know, where do you want to go, and what is your true story, so that we can figure out what to put you in.
It's relationship. I think
Yep.
we miss the opportunity to build rapport.
Yep.
Literally allow the customer or client, and I've said this before and I still believe it, there's a difference between a customer and a client.
Yes.
Huge difference.
Yep.
When we consider someone's ability to communicate, about the service or about Nirvana, it literally sets the tempo and the pace for long-term relationship.
Yep.
Because most of us, especially being in sales and in marketing, we have to learn how to not just put people in that dollar cent credit bracket,
Yep.
but literally see, I'm in a position to position someone else, but literally what I have is designed to help a person do better. And I think that sets you all apart. Damien, here's a question for you. Because I know you've recently gotten with Vintage Homes and all the other things that you're doing. How do you balance it? Because when we talk about firemen and all the different things, and I'm still praying, because I saw that the trucks throughout Houston, and I don't know if it's in Cypress area, with this heat and all the stuff that we hear that's going on. How do you balance that along with what you're doing now as an entrepreneur?
I work a lot of shifts in the evenings and weekends, and then do my mortgage work during the week. Even though my phone is on 24/7 all through the weekend, I can be contacted anytime, and I'd be happy to work anytime. But basically 9 to 5 during the week is my priority of mortgages. That's when I get that work done, and then when I go onto shift at 6 o'clock in the evening until 6 in the morning, that's when I do the firefighting work. But I can balance it incredibly well.
Well, and don't forget, Damien, you got to throw those kids in there.
Yeah,
He's got kids
He's
too.
got a whole.
Don't forget about those.
So you're
So
basically
between that-
he's in the juggling
Yes.
thing right here. It's
He's a
like
juggler. Yep.
my kids are at home, so they keep me busy on top of everything else. So it really is a balancing act. But I work through it. I make sure that my customers are looked after, my family are looked after, and then the fire department at the end. So.
you are definitely a genuine individual that I've had the opportunity to meet through BizConnect. But your drive and what motivates you, it sets you apart. I see. I literally do my research. I literally engage with those before getting them on this platform, because I know that the listeners and followers trust KNLY, myself, to bring in businesses of integrity, and then they want to know that we are real people. We definitely have a life outside of what we do, and so I want you to share some information. Doesn't matter who shares it. I may not need you to share this, Damien, because you're going to make people think that Nirvana is a business. So, but no, seriously, whoever can share the Facebook, Instagram, phone number, the best means by which someone can get in contact.
Well, we can actually both do that.
Yeah.
So the Vintage Home Loan website is vintagehomeloan.com. We do have Facebook. It's Vintage Home Loan. I think our NMLS number is plastered in there somewhere.
Okay.
But then each of my loan officers has their own business page, which of course Damien.
Mine is, which I can't remember off the top of my head, D-Power Vintage Home Loan.
Okay.
That's my Facebook business page. And my phone number is 832-567-8493. Also, on the Vintage Home Loan website, if you do vintagehomeloan.com/D-Power,
Okay.
then you can capture me that way as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, everywhere really. On the
Yeah.
radio, on the
Everywhere.
TV. It's-
Hopefully not at anybody's house putting out a fire.
No, that's,
Yeah. High five on that one. Yeah. Just
you will not
yeah.
get my card after
Yeah.
that. It's,
Listen, you all got all the information in relations to Ms. Nirvana Roof, Mr. Damian Powers, Vintage Home Loans. I encourage you to reach out to them if they can help you in any way. I'm certain they're capable, not only with the experience, but the overall compassion and genuineness. So I encourage you to do that. If you can't find this information, it'll be on KNLY 91.1 The Boss. Get all that information, but also on mine, Orlando Daniels, Facebook, Instagram. And if we can help in any way, point you in the right direction, we're going to do just that. Thank you all so much for being my guest. I am Orlando Daniels. This is Today's Entrepreneur, and we look forward to seeing and sharing with you again. You all be blessed. Make it a great week.
Thank you.